Today we are looking at the cast of the film Bloodsport 1988, a $2.5 million movie which made $50 million worldwide. Before we dive in, let me remind you to subscribe, like, and comment. Jean-Claude Van Damme. Jean-Claude Van Damme acted as Frank Dux. He was 27 years old when Bloodsport was released, a Belgian bouncer with a karate background, a thick accent, and a dream so stubborn it refused to die. Jean-Claude Van Damme had been sleeping on friends' floors and practically begging Cannon Films' President Menahem Golan for a shot. He got it, and he detonated. After Bloodsport came Kickboxer, then Universal Soldier, then Timecap in '94, his biggest box office hit. Then The Wheels Came Off, a cocaine addiction he later discussed with brutal honesty, an undiagnosed bipolar disorder that drove much of the chaos. The blockbusters dried up. By 40 he was a cautionary tale. Then came the comeback. His 2008 film JCVD showed the world he could actually act, not just kick. The Volvo Splits commercial went viral. The Expendables 2: Darkness of Man in 2024, and he lent his voice and face to Mortal Kombat 1, the video game, in 2023. He is 65 now, he's sober, still training, still the muscles from Brussels. The man who was written off never quite went away. Bolo Yeung. Bolo Yeung acted as Chong Li. He was 41 years old during the filming of Bloodsport, and already a legend. Born in mainland China in 1946, he escaped to Hong Kong and became Mr. Hong Kong Bodybuilding Champion in 1970, holding that title for 10 consecutive years. He was the Chinese Hercules. He had already stood alongside Bruce Lee in Enter the Dragon in '73, but Chong Li in Bloodsport is what burned his face permanently into the global imagination. He barely speaks. He just stands there, and the room goes cold. He is 79 years old now and lives quietly in Los Angeles. Viral photos claiming he was in a wheelchair or gravely ill have been circulating for years, all of them fake, all of them debunked. He has been seen at martial arts events as recently as 2025. He's 79 years old, still standing. Chong Li could never truly be defeated. Donald Gibb. Donald Gibb acted as Ray Jackson. He was 33 years old when Bloodsport came out, already cult famous as Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds in 1984. 6 feet 4 inches of pure loud energy, Ray Jackson was the perfect role. The big American who bonds with ducks, cheers every fight with genuine joy, and then gets hospitalized by Chong Li in one of the film's most brutal moments. After Bloodsport, he bounced through television steadily. Quantum Leap, MacGyver, Cheers, The X-Files, Boy Meets World. He even played Zangief in the Street Fighter movie in '94 and reprised Ray Jackson in Bloodsport 2 in '96. He is 71 now and lives in Chicago. He co-owns a bar called Trader Todd's where he markets Ogre beer, named after his most famous character. He has a Cameo account, attends fan conventions, and is working on a memoir. Ray Jackson would absolutely approve of how he is spending his retirement. Ayres. Ayres acted as Janice Kent. She was 30 years old during Bloodsport, already known from the Edge of Night soap opera in the early '80s and the 1981 horror film The Burning. In Bloodsport she played Janice Kent, the American journalist chasing the Kumite story in Hong Kong, the only genuine emotional anchor in a film otherwise built entirely around flying fists. After Bloodsport, she continued in guest roles through the '90s, and even briefly replaced Maureen McCormick as Marcia Brady in the short-lived dramatic series The Bradys in 1990. Then she deliberately walked away. She earned a master's degree in human development, became a certified master yoga teacher, co-created the yoga kit for kids, and served as program director for Yoga Eat in Los Angeles. She is 68 now. She goes by Lee Kalish after marrying producer Bruce Kalish in 1991, and they run a family constellations and trauma facilitation practice together. Her last acting credit was 1998. She chose this life entirely by design, and by every account with no regrets at all. Norman Burton. Norman Burton acted as Helmer. He was 64 years old when Bloodsport came out, a veteran of the Actors Studio in New York, a man who had been working in Hollywood since the 1950s. He had played Felix Leiter in Diamonds Are Forever opposite Sean Connery in '71. He was in Planet of the Apes, The Towering Inferno, Save the Tiger, a career built on being the most credible man in whatever room the story needed him. In Bloodsport, he played Helmer with exactly the right energy, exasperated, dogged, permanently 3 steps behind Van Damme and furious about it. The comedy of his fruitless pursuit across Hong Kong is one of the film's most underrated pleasures. Here is where the story turns tragic. Burton had retired to Ajijic, Mexico, a small lakeside town popular with American expatriates. In late 2003, he was traveling back toward the United States when he was killed in a car accident near the California and Arizona border. He died just 6 days before his 80th birthday. 5 decades of craft ended in an instant on a highway. He was 79 years old. Forest Whitaker. Forest Whitaker acted as Rawlins. He was 26 years old when Bloodsport came out. He played Rawlins, the younger partner to Burton's Helmer, a man who spends most of the film jogging through crowds trying to locate Van Damme. It is not a large role. There is no reason to watch this movie and think, that man right there is going to win the Academy Award for Best Actor, and yet. The same year as Bloodsport, he delivered a breathtaking performance as Charlie Parker in Clint Eastwood's Bird, which won him Best Actor at Cannes, then The Crying Game, then Ghost Dog, then Panic Room, and then in 2006, The Last King of Scotland. His portrayal of Idi Amin won him the Oscar, the Golden Globe, and the BAFTA, only the 4th black man in history to win the Academy Award for Best Actor. He is 64 now. He plays Saw Gerrera in the Star Wars universe, appearing in Rogue One and the series Andor. He created and stars in Godfather of Harlem, running since 2019, and beyond the screen, he is a UNESCO Special Envoy for Peace and Reconciliation and founded a global organization working in conflict zones, from chasing Van Damme through Hong Kong at 26. To the United Nations stage at 64, that is not a career arc, that is a life. Chiao. Chiao acted as Senzo Tanaka. He was 60 years old when Bloodsport was released, and already one of the most distinguished figures in Asian cinema. Born in Shanghai in 1927, he was multilingual, a Korean War battlefield interpreter for the US Army who rose to the rank of captain. They called him the Lion of Cinema. He had stood alongside Bruce Lee in Enter the Dragon in '73, and alongside Harrison Ford as the gangster Lao Chi in Indiana Jones, and the Temple of Doom in '84. As Senzo Tanaka, he barely raises his voice and carries the entire emotional weight of the film. Without Tanaka, there is no story. In 1995, at 68, he won the Hong Kong Film Award for Best Actor for Summer Snow, playing an elderly man with Alzheimer's, a completely different kind of performance that proved the action world had only ever shown one side of him. He suffered 3 heart attacks in his final years and passed away in Seattle in April 1999 at the age of 72, just after completing his final film. He was working right until the very end. The Lion of Cinema never stopped. Michel Qissi. Michel Qissi acted as Suan Paredes. He was around 25 or 26 years old when Bloodsport came out. He is born in Oujda, Morocco in 1962. He grew up in Brussels where he and a young Jean-Claude Van Varenberg, the future Van Damme, trained martial arts together as children, watched Bruce Lee films obsessively, and boarded the same plane to Hollywood in 1982 with the exact same dream. Their first work was as extras in Break-In in '84, then came Bloodsport. Bloodsport gave him a small role as Suan Paredes. Kickboxer the following year gave him Tong Po, one of martial arts cinema's most feared villains, the Muay Thai champion who paralyses Van Damme's brother and sets the entire story in motion. That role made him famous. He reprised it in Kickboxer 2 and returned for the reboot in 2016. He is now 63 years old. He co-runs the World Cinema Combat Federation, teaching fight choreography internationally, and continues acting, appearing in The Last Kumite in 2024 and Out for Vengeance in 2025. He lives in Belgium and has been involved in social work with disadvantaged youth. The boy from Brussels who shared a dream is still living it. Philip Chan Yangkin. Philip Chan Yangkin acted as Captain Chen. He was 43 years old when Bloodsport came out, and his real life made Captain Chen look ordinary by comparison. He was born in Hong Kong in 1945. He joined the Royal Hong Kong Police Force in '65, rose to superintendent, and solved major crimes including the 1974 Po Sang Bank robbery, one of the most dramatic hostage situations in Hong Kong history. He moonlighted on TVB television in his police uniform performing road safety songs for schoolchildren. They called him the Singing Inspector. He retired from the force in '76 and walked straight into cinema, writing the screenplay for Jumping Ash that same year. He appeared opposite Van Damme again in Double Impact in '91 and starred alongside Jackie Chan in Super Cop in '92. He is 81 now. He is still active as CEO of his entertainment company Endless Idea Management Limited and serving as life chairman of the Hong Kong Film Directors Guild. From police inspector to singing inspector to cinema legend. One of the most remarkable life stories in this entire cast. John Chu and Jilong. Cheung and Leung played Toon, one of the Kumité's recurring faces. He was already a well-established figure in Hong Kong cinema before Bloodsport, having built his career across the 70s and 80s in numerous productions. He continued working steadily in Hong Kong films throughout the 90s and into the 2000s. He is now in his 80s and has largely stepped back from the industry. Part of a generation of Hong Kong actors whose enormous contribution to martial arts cinema is only now being properly appreciated by Western audiences. Pierre Rafini. Pierre Rafini played Frank Dux as a boy in the film's flashback sequences, the moments that give the whole story its emotional foundation. He was a child actor at the time of filming. Outside of Bloodsport, Rafini had a limited acting career and moved away from the industry entirely. He has maintained an extremely private life since, and almost nothing is publicly documented about him as an adult, the young face that stared up at Chiao with such wonder. Grew up quietly somewhere far from the cameras. Leung Shun-Yin. Leung Shun-Yin acted as Mrs. Tanaka. She was 59 years old when Bloodsport came out, and she was already a legend in Hong Kong television. She was born in Hong Kong on the 7th of January 1929. She had been working as an actress since 1957 and became known across Asia as the First Lady of Hong Kong television. She played Mrs. Tanaka with quiet grace, the warmth behind Chiao's steely exterior. She worked continuously in Hong Kong television for over 60 years, right up to 2017 when she was 88 years old. More than 80 television series, decades of presence in people's homes. She was diagnosed with cancer in her final years and passed away on the 13th of August 2019 at the Hong Kong Buddhist Hospital. She was 90 years old. She had been acting for 62 years. The First Lady of Hong Kong television never retired. She simply left the stage. Kenneth Siao Yeung. Kenneth Siao Yeung played Victor Lin, the local contact who helps Frank Dux navigate Hong Kong's underground fighting world. Beyond acting, Siao served as the film's assistant director, playing a major behind-the-scenes role in keeping the whole production moving. This kind of dual contribution was common among Hong Kong film professionals of the era, who frequently worked both in front of and behind the camera on international co-productions. Jahangir Ghaffari. Jahangir Ghaffari played Gustafson, one of the international kumite fighters. Like many of the fighters cast in Bloodsport, he was chosen as much for his authentic martial arts background as for any acting experience. After Bloodsport, he worked in smaller productions, but largely stepped away from public life. Very little has been documented about his life in recent decades. One of several names from this film who simply vanished back into the world when the cameras stopped rolling. David Ho Wing Hin. David Ho Wing Hin played Pumola, the fighter whose extended theatrical pre-fight display became one of Bloodsport's most oddly remembered moments. Frank Dux knocks him out in under 8 seconds, which the tournament organizers do not even recognize as a new speed record, which is perhaps the film's funniest moment. Ho was a Hong Kong-based martial artist and actor who appeared in various productions of the era. Pumola is a small role that somehow managed to permanently lodge itself in the memory of anyone who ever watched this film late on a Friday night. Ken Boyle. Ken Boyle played Colonel Cook, the superior officer whose disapproval of Frank Dux going absent without leave sets the entire chase subplot in motion. He was a working character actor who contributed a convincing military authority to the role. Outside of Bloodsport, he worked across television and film in supporting roles through the 80s and early 90s. Like many character actors who populated the action films of that era, he was a working professional who moved through projects rather than building a star profile and has kept a very private life in the decades since. Paulo Tache. Paulo Tache played Paco, one of the Kumité's many international fighters. Like many of the fighters cast in Bloodsport, he came from a genuine martial arts background, and his physical presence on screen was earned through real training rather than acting technique. He appeared in a small number of action films around this period, and then effectively stepped away from the industry. Martial artists of this generation often found that the window of opportunity was narrow. And when it closed, many returned to teaching, training, or simply private lives far from any casting call. Eric Neff. Eric Neff played Mora, another competitor at the Kumite, a martial artist with genuine credentials who was cast primarily for his physical authenticity. After Bloodsport, Neff remained connected to the martial arts world but stepped away from mainstream Hollywood. He's one of several fighters from this film who have become essentially invisible to the public eye in the decades since. The kind of story that is not a tragedy exactly, but a quiet disappearance that leaves you wondering. If this story hit you the way it should, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments which cast member's story surprised you the most. See you in the next one.